Hey guys, we're back here with the Prelude. I know that there was a period there where nothing, not nothing exciting, but nothing as far as like the turbo setup had really been going on. We went to the drag strip. That was just me wanting to do something with the car in 2020 since the turbo build just didn't seem to work out. But actually getting back on track with that, and I found out that I'm probably closer in the finances to actually having it done than I had thought. I know there's going to be nickel and diming, hundreds of dollars at the end for miscellaneous fittings and hoses and all that good stuff. But today what's going on is this engine, which actually came out of what would have been my second Prelude. My first one I ever owned was actually a silver 89S model, so it's the single over a cam B20 carbureted engine. This is actually a B20A5 that came out of the second Prelude I ever owned, and I thought at the ripe age of 19, while not having a whole lot of money, I was gonna. We pulled the engine, sanded down the entire car, and I thought we were gonna give it a fresh paint job and have a full turbo engine build in the car with little to no money to do so. But now it's a little more realistic. But yeah, so I'm taking off like all these brackets and stuff, and I want to get them sent over and powder coated. And I think I remember back in the day, for some reason I was really interested in finding the non-AC version of this bracket. So just for nostalgia's sake, I'm just going to actually lob off some extra pieces. I don't know if I'm going to bother with this stuff, but at least lob off this bottom part just to make it, like a non-AC bracket. But yeah, I'm going to take off most of these parts. This side post, honestly, there's a little bit of surface rust, but I don't think I'm even going to bother sending that to a powder coater. If I do, the one's just right down the road for me. But I saw one of the other guys on the page had recently had this water pipe repowder coated, and based on like the rust on the hose ends and stuff, I think that's actually a really smart idea. So I'm going to do that just to be safe. And this engine, I actually only got to drive the car. This was in once because it wasn't really in well-running shape, even though they have just changed the head gasket and put new valves in it. I'm pretty sure they had a timing belt snap, but I drove it home. It wasn't running well, and after that, it never started again. But hopefully, fresh machine work and all that stuff finds no issues. This engine, I'd already actually had the pan off and checked the bearings and stuff. Everything was fine. But yeah, so now I'm going to take off all the random brackets and stuff. And this is actually going to go to the machine shop because I bought 81.5 millimeter pistons, so it's actually getting a slight overbore. And then I'm trying to find a flashlight. And I think the engine is in relatively good health. I'm going to see if you can't check the crank for straightness, give it a micro polish if you think's needed. And the only issue on the engine from sitting so long is down here in the cylinder at the very bottom. There's some surface rust. Well, what I'm hoping is surface rust. It's kind of spread out down there, and I'm hoping that with the 0.5 millimeter overbore that we're able to clean that up and it's no big deal. I do have another B20A5 block that I bought off another guy for a really good deal that if this engine doesn't come out well, I have a spare to try again with. But yeah, I'm gonna just be sitting here taking this apart. I figure I'd do a little time loop of me doing so, and yeah, I'll see you guys here in a few. All right, got the engine taken apart. I think I'm at a pretty good stopping point. Actually, as I look at it, I realize there's these two little pieces right here. I should probably take off before I take it to the machine shop. I'm sure there's actually probably more that I should get off. There's a couple dowels for the brackets for the AC bracket and the power steering pump bracket / alternator, since they all kind of share a little bit. But dowels aren't coming out. If it's an issue at the machine shop, I guess I'll pay a little extra for them to deal with it. But if not, then I guess they're just going to stay in for now. But we'll see. Everything seems to have came out okay. I'll just do a quick little rundown here. But yeah, I mean, the engine itself seems relatively decent. I mean, it didn't seem like it was in the greatest health the last time I drove it, which at this point has been, I don't know, 7-8 years or so. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really much in here to show. But the crank itself, I think, looks okay. I'm definitely not necessarily a machinist or whatever, or know exactly how to gauge these Honda cranks. I mean, I know there's a spec and everything, but I know the surface of them is more important than anything. On these mains, you can see there's these little grooves in the center, but I don't know. I feel like that may be normal, just based on the fact that the bearings themselves actually have a recess right there for oil clearance. But seems okay. The only thing that was a real pain, was here on the end of the crank. I don't know if I can pick it up. You can see there's some kind of marring. The actual gear for the timing belt that attaches to the crank did not want to come off, and I don't know. I mean, it's not the first time I've ever seen anything like that, and who knows if it's ever been off. It looks like someone did something not very great over here, which I'm not happy about, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything too important right there. I know there's well, oh yeah, that's where never mind, that's where the crankshaft pulley rides, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the machine shop can help me out a little bit. If not, I'll probably end up taking a little bit of emery cloth or a sandpaper that's not too aggressive and just kind of get rid of that, or maybe I'll see if they'll just go on and let it ride. But yep. This is pretty much ready for the machine shop. Anything I'm doing after this point, I'm just going to leave off camera. But it's been good to see you guys again. I'm glad that this engine's actually getting somewhere. It's been talk. I got all the turbo stuff already fabricated. So after this is done, I think I'm going to go through the process of assembling the engine myself. So maybe I'll be able to give a little bit of a plastic gauge tutorial. I've used it before. I wouldn't call myself an expert on it, but I don't necessarily know that it's that difficult. So I'll probably bring you guys along for that. I'm going to, I believe, file my own rings. I'm not sure exactly what kind of gap I'm going to go for yet, but that'll all be for another episode. So I'll catch you guys then.